The happiness he was searching for was already in his hands. Most people believe happiness is waiting somewhere ahead of them. After the next promotion. After the dream house. After more money. After the right person finally enters their life. After the world starts treating them the way they believe they deserve. But there is something strange about the way we chase happiness. When we finally get the things we once prayed for, the peace we expected often doesn't stay for long. A bigger goal appears. A richer person appears. A better life appears on someone else's screen. And slowly, without even realizing it, we stop living our own lives and start measuring them against everyone else's. This is the story of a young man named Kevin, who spent years chasing happiness in all the wrong places. Until one quiet morning in the beautiful city of Florence, an old street painter named Peter taught him a lesson he would never forget. In the heart of Florence, Italy, where ancient stone streets glistened after the rain and golden sunlight touched the walls of historic buildings, there lived a young man named Kevin. Kevin was 27 years old. He was intelligent. He was hardworking. And yet, deep inside, he was deeply restless. Every morning, Kevin walked through the same beautiful streets that tourists traveled across the world just to see. But Kevin never noticed their beauty. Instead, he noticed expensive watches. Luxury cars. Couples laughing outside elegant cafes. Successful people speaking confidently on their phones. Young influencers taking pictures beside buildings Kevin had walked past hundreds of times. To the world, Kevin lived in one of the most beautiful cities on earth. But inside his heart, he felt poor. Not because he had nothing. He had a small apartment. A stable job at a design company. Food on his table. And a mother who called him every evening just to ask, "Kevin, have you eaten?" But Kevin couldn't feel grateful for any of it. Every night, he would lie on his bed, scroll through social media, and compare his life with people who seemed younger, richer, happier, and more successful. One friend had moved to Dubai. Another had bought a brand new car. Someone from his university had started a successful company. Someone else had gotten married in a beautiful castle overlooking the sea. And every time Kevin looked at their lives, his own life seemed smaller. Less exciting. Less successful. Less meaningful. One evening, after a particularly difficult day at work, Kevin sat alone near the Piazza della Signoria. The city was alive. Music filled the air. Tourists walked through the square. Soft evening lights reflected against the ancient buildings. But Kevin felt completely empty. He looked down at his phone and whispered, "When will it finally be my turn to be happy?" Just then, he noticed an old man sitting quietly near the corner of the square. The man was painting small portraits for strangers. His clothes were simple. His shoes were worn out. His hands were rough and wrinkled from years of work. Beside him sat a small wooden box filled with brushes, half-used paints, and a few coins. But there was something strange about the old man. He was smiling. Not a fake smile. Not a polite smile. It was a calm, peaceful smile. A smile that seemed to come from somewhere deep within his soul. Kevin watched him for a while. Then a little girl approached the old painter and asked him to paint a bird. The old man laughed softly. He picked up his brush and painted a beautiful blue bird on a tiny piece of paper. The little girl clapped excitedly. And the old man simply handed the painting to her for free. Kevin stared at the scene in confusion. How could someone with so little look so peaceful? After a few minutes, Kevin finally walked toward him. "Sir," Kevin said, "may I ask you something?" The old man looked up and smiled. "Of course." Kevin sat beside him. "You sit here all day, painting for a few coins. Don't you ever get tired of this life?" The old man slowly cleaned his brush. Then he looked at Kevin and asked, "Are you tired of life, or are you tired of wanting another one?" Kevin became silent. The old man continued, "There is a difference." Kevin looked away. "I just feel like everyone is moving ahead," he said quietly. "Everyone is becoming successful. Everyone has something bigger and better. And I'm still here." The old man nodded, as if he had heard those words many times before. Then he asked, "If tomorrow you became rich, would your heart finally rest?" Kevin thought for a moment. "At least I would be happier," he replied. The old man smiled. "For how long?" Kevin didn't answer. Peter picked up an empty cup lying beside him. "A thirsty man thinks one cup of water will save him," he said. But if the thirst is in his mind, even an ocean will not be enough. Kevin looked at him carefully. Peter continued. You are not suffering because your life is empty. You are suffering because your eyes are always standing inside someone else's life. Those words touched Kevin deeply. For the first time that evening, he slowly put his phone into his pocket. Peter pointed toward the busy square. Look around you. Kevin turned his head. People travel from the other side of the world just to stand where you are standing, Peter said. They save money for years to walk these streets for only 2 or 3 days. But you pass through them every morning with a heavy heart because you're too busy wishing you were somewhere else. Kevin slowly looked around. For years, he had walked through Florence like a prisoner. But now, he began to notice what he had stopped seeing. The music. The ancient buildings. The smell of fresh coffee. The evening sky. The laughter of strangers. The beauty of ordinary life. Peter looked at him and said, There is nothing wrong with wanting more, my son. But when wanting more makes you blind to what you already have, your dreams can become a prison. Kevin lowered his eyes. That night, he went home quietly. For the first time in months, he didn't open social media before going to sleep. Instead, he sat beside his small window and looked out at the city lights. But the lesson was not finished. Not yet. The next morning, something unexpected happened. A fire broke out in a small building near the square where Peter usually painted. People gathered in panic. Smoke filled the streets. Firefighters arrived quickly and eventually controlled the flames. But several small shops were badly damaged. Kevin heard about the fire and immediately ran toward the square. His heart suddenly became heavy when he saw Peter standing near the street. The small wooden box was gone. His brushes had been burned. His paintings were destroyed. The little corner where he had sat every day was now blackened with smoke. Kevin rushed toward him. Peter, he said, I'm so sorry. You lost everything. Peter looked quietly at the burned corner. Then he looked up at the morning sky. And somehow, he smiled. Kevin couldn't understand it. How can you smile? He asked. Your work is gone. Your tools are gone. Your paintings, everything is gone. Peter placed one hand gently on Kevin's shoulder. The fire burned my brushes, he said. It did not burn my hands. It burned my paintings. It did not burn my gift. It burned my corner. It did not burn my life. Kevin stood completely still. Peter continued. People make the same mistake again and again. They place their happiness inside things that can disappear. Then, when life takes those things away, their entire peace disappears with them. Kevin felt those words enter his heart like sunlight entering a dark room. Then Peter said the sentence Kevin would remember for the rest of his life. If your peace lives outside you, the world will always have the power to take it away. That day, something changed inside Kevin. He didn't become rich overnight. His problems didn't disappear. His apartment didn't suddenly become bigger. His job didn't suddenly become perfect. But his eyes changed. And when a person's eyes change, the entire world begins to look different. Kevin started calling his mother. Not because he felt obligated to, but because he genuinely wanted to hear her voice. He started walking to work without headphones, paying attention to the streets around him. He noticed the morning sky. The small cafes. The people rushing to work. The elderly couples walking hand in hand. The simple beauty he had ignored for years. Kevin still worked hard. He still wanted success. He still had dreams. But now, he no longer hated his present life while chasing a better future. Every morning before leaving his apartment, Kevin began writing down 3 things he was grateful for. At first, they were simple things. A warm bed. Fresh bread. His mother's voice. But slowly, the list became longer. A body that could walk. A city filled with beauty. A chance to try again. A heart that was still beating. A new day. A second chance. Months passed. Kevin continued visiting Peter. Meanwhile, the people in the community came together to help the old painter. They bought him new brushes. They helped him replace his wooden box. And soon, Peter returned to the square and began painting again. One evening, Kevin sat beside him as the setting sun turned the ancient buildings golden. Kevin smiled. I used to think happiness would come after I finally became successful. Peter dipped his brush into blue paint. Then he replied. No, Kevin. Happiness is not the reward at the end of the road. It is the light that helps you walk the road without losing yourself. Kevin looked across the busy square. And for the first time in his life, he truly understood. Happiness was not hiding in another country. It wasn't waiting inside a bank account. It wasn't locked inside someone else's approval. It wasn't living on the other side of some imaginary finish line. It was in the breath he kept ignoring. The mother he kept delaying. The city he had stopped seeing. The ordinary days he kept treating as meaningless. Years later, Kevin became successful in his career. But whenever people asked him what changed his life, he never talked about money. He never talked about business. And he never talked about luck. Instead, he always told them about an old street painter named Peter in Florence. A man who lost his brushes in a fire. But never lost his peace. And whenever Kevin met someone who was tired of life, jealous of others, or constantly chasing the next thing, he would simply say, "Be careful where you place your happiness. Anything outside you can be taken away." So, what should we learn from Kevin's story? Wanting a better life is not wrong. Dreaming big is not wrong. Working hard is not wrong. Wanting to grow is not wrong. But destroying your peace because you don't yet have everything you want. That is one of the saddest ways to live. Because one day, you may finally get everything you are chasing today. And suddenly realize that you forgot to enjoy the life you already had. Gratitude doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you stop hating your life while you grow. So work hard. Dream big. Build your future. But tonight, before you ask life for more, pause for a moment. Look around you. Look at the people you love. Look at the life you already have. Look at the things you once prayed for that you now take for granted. Because sometimes, the happiness you are desperately chasing isn't far away. Sometimes, it's been quietly waiting for you to notice it. And if this story touched your heart, don't go anywhere. Subscribe to my channel, like, and share this. Watch my next story. The small donkey that taught me the most powerful lesson about life. It will show you why sometimes, losing control of your life can become the beginning of finding true peace.